If I could design a car, I would start with a story. A story that personifies the thing that I'm trying to create. Who would that car be if the car was a person? And in keeping in line with what I love about the old, I would have buttons, no screens, no fake materials, no materials that are made to look like something they're not. If it's plastic, it looks like plastic, you can tell it's plastic. Though ideally I would not want to have plastic in the interior of a car. I personally do not like plastic at all. I'm more of metal, leather, wood. Those are good materials. So who am I? I'm Brandon Tyrus, graphic designer and self-certified car guy. From as early as I can remember, a car has always been more than just a mode of transport to me. It started with Speed Racer.
Go, Speed Racer, go!
That cartoon with the guy who never lost, pretty much. With that influence as a young, impressionable boy, probably around 3-4 years old, you start drawing race cars. And you spend a couple years doing that, and then one day, a little cartoon movie named Cars comes out. I first watched when I was probably 9 or 10, watching it off a bootleg DVD. And from there you get entrenched into those two influences, throw you right into seeing cars as powerful machines used for competition. Speed is what matters, power is what matters. And then every time you're in a store, in a shop, and you see the magazines there, you see this very interesting magazine called Top Gear. And there's a Lamborghini on the cover. A bright yellow Lamborghini on the cover. I remember I might have had one of those. And you're begging your parents, come on, get me one, please get me one. And they finally agree reluctantly. And you come back and you're scrolling through it, looking at the pictures, not really reading the whole article, looking at the numbers, how much horsepower it has, what the 0 to 60 time is. And then one day you discover the show with the same name, Top Gear. And it's more about speed and power. So you never really get a chance to see a car as just a mode of transport. From the beginning, a car is an instrument for competition.
There, where on the Bremgarten circuit, 21 cars left the starting grid in the Swiss Grand Prix. But later, in a sports car event, came disaster. Rudolf Caracciola, a Swiss veteran, had crashed into a tree but escaped with a broken leg. Only 8 cars finished the grueling Grand Prix course, won by Piero Taruffi of Italy, driving a Ferrari.
That already interjects a lot of emotion and a lot of feeling and a lot of attachment to the machine, because it becomes an extension of yourself. But then you get a little bit older, and then you actually start driving. And then you realize, yeah, sure, speed and power, but you start to get familiar with the car on a more personal level, with actual real-life experience. And you start to notice characteristics of different kinds of cars if you're lucky enough to drive more than one. And you start to notice the dynamics of them, how you can feel that one is lighter or stiffer. These things actually have a character. They're not just a box of metal and rubber and plastic.
It's what non-car people don't get. They see all cars as just 1.5 tons, 2 tons of wires, glass, metal and rubber. That's all they see. People like you or I know we have an unshakable belief that cars are living entities. You can develop a relationship with a car.
I find that is very lost with the modern car, though. All the electronic integration or interference, depending on how you look at it, has sort of numbed them down, where those individual characteristics of the car are sort of eliminated. They're neutralized by the electrics. That's probably why I like vintage cars. Or old cars. Older cars. Both. Just before all the electronics sort of ruined them. Because they still have that character. Capture that feeling with your own car, and so you find you might just wake up one day and be like, let me completely overhaul the entire interior of my car, and then 2 weeks later it's blue. When cars became smarter and quieter, we traded away the art aspect of making a car. When you make something with the feeling of art, or with the idea that you're making something that can be art, you inject a lot of love and care into it. So now even the modern sports car, you get the impression that they're made to tick a box. Is it fast? Tick. Okay, sports car. Just because something is fast doesn't mean it's fun. A la electric cars. It's the most boring version of fast you could ever think of. There's no drama, there's no personality. Electricity doesn't have personality. Mechanical bits do, because no mechanical bits are the same. We traded away the art aspect of cars. And so as a result, you get cars like the Ferrari Luce. All the proportions are off. And you can feel it, that there was barely any human input in the design of this thing, in the creation of this thing. Proportionally, it's off. So with cars becoming smarter and safer, so did the ways that cars are made, and that stripped away all that artistry, all the personality, all the nuances, all the humanness. And then it comes into the lack of humanness when you get into the interior, and the interiors are full of screens. The human mind is made to recognize physical space. When there's a button in a car, you can remember the exact position that button is in, that you can interact with said button without even looking at it after a while. You can't do that with a touchscreen because things change all the time. Ain't nothing you're interacting with on the touchscreen is in physical space. And so you can't do the subconscious interaction with it. Not to mention that there's no feeling of material. There's no feeling of position change, like a dial. You rotate it and you feel those slightly dampened clicks as you're increasing or decreasing volume. And something so simple like that is now turning into a slider on a screen. Why? I think all the driver assist disconnects you from the car. It's like having someone in your house you never talk to. They're there, you can see them, but would you say that you're connected to them? Would you say that y'all have a connection, a relationship? Probably not, because you never talk to them. All those driver assists, in my mind, give the same sort of feeling to the car. You never experience it, really. The interaction is very surface level, because it's doing everything for you. There's too much seeking of perfection, that in doing so, we have neglected, well, the car industry, not me, I haven't, I'm very much aware of it. The car industry has neglected the fact that the things that they call imperfections are what contribute to said perfection. Because in this real world living, nothing is perfect. Everything has a difference to it. Everything has a wear and tear to it. Everything has a characteristic that's different from another thing. So something like hand-stitched leather and the smell of old leather. Something like a steering wheel that isn't too light or numb.
There's so much feedback coming through the wheel as well, look. Can communicate everything.
Those things feel more honest because they remind us of people. Because people are different and people are imperfect. And what renders a car perfect or not perfect to me is how much you can connect to it, not how much it can do for you or how convenient it is. I tend to personify cars a lot. Somebody might be good looking, but then they don't have a very tasteful personality. Would it matter that they're good looking or not? Probably not. And so a combination of the car looks good, the philosophy behind the car's existence is also good in the sense that it's engineered honestly. The materials are true to what the material actually is. None of this plastic that's textured like leather so that it looks like leather from afar, but the moment you touch it, it's like, all right, plastic.
A bit scratchy.
None of that. No fakery. And then simplicity in the sense that whatever's there serves a function, not convenience. Not something that makes you numb to it, not something that makes you distracted like a screen or actively seeks to make you a worse driver by limiting your possibility to acquire skill of driving, like assistance in general. And then timelessness. And that is not a trend that 5 years, 10 years, 20 years later, 50 years later, this thing can still be considered good looking or beautiful to some respect. A dashboard with buttons and dials can more guaranteed to look good 20 years later than one with a screen. I mean, look at any car with a screen from 10 years ago. It looks terrible now, and it's just been 10 years. So, timelessness, and simplicity. There's something I heard recently that goes a little like a person that works with their hands is a laborer. A person that works with their hands and their mind is a craftsman. A person that works with their hands, their mind, and their passion is an artist. And I can't help but notice with a lot of things from eras that passed, be it cars or furniture or old technology, they have a feeling of craftsman or artist in them that is very much missing in a lot of products. It might have something to do with all the plastic or the fake materials that are made to look like something else. I can't imagine an artist or craftsman would really want to do that. I wouldn't, and I'm a designer, so I would know. It stops feeling like a machine and starts feeling more like a bridge between me and the person who built it. It's similar to the sort of connection that you feel to God when you interact with nature. You get the sense that there was someone behind this who thought about every single detail and brought it to existence. That same sort of feeling is completely lost when something is optimized. We've stopped caring about more than just the task, the function or something. We stopped caring past that point. Does the car get me from here to there without any faff? Yes. Cool. Any other detail beyond that, don't care. I think we have stopped stewarding our environments because we are too concerned with what is convenient, or not what is meaningful or impactful. So if I could design a car, I would start with a story that personifies the thing that I'm trying to create. And in keeping in line with what I love about the old, I would have buttons, no screens, no fake materials, no materials that are made to look like something they're not. I would keep the overall safety of new cars though. Things like airbags and anti-lock brake systems and traction control. I would make a car that is very optionable as well. No matter the price of the car, whether it's a base level car or high-end car, who would that car be if the car was a person? You know? Like if it's me, I would say I'm leaning towards designing a medium-sized car that's in sort of a similar shape to an Alfa Romeo from